Travel consideration provided by...
My tip is, the worst lies are the lies you tell yourself. Like smoking isn't that dangerous.
You can quit. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW for help getting free medication.
Happening now.
Next week, a lot of San Antonio kids are heading back to the classroom. We're going to take a look at the precautions that the two largest school districts in the city are putting in place to keep kids safe. In light of the Damian Daniels incident, we're going to talk to a clinical psychologist at the VA about combat veterans struggling with PTSD and other forms of mental illness.
Joe Biden in Wisconsin, President Trump in Pennsylvania, two states that we'll hear a lot about over the coming weeks. I'm Karen Cape at the White House with a look at how the swing state battle is shaping up.
And this sure is a nice sight to see on the radar this afternoon. Widespread showers and storms in the hill country. They're drifting southward. We'll take a close look at them, talk about the odds of them making it to San Antonio, and look ahead to the weekend coming right up.
Face masks are essential to slowing the spread, but they can be annoying. Coming up, we'll look at solutions to the things that bug you. The News at 5 starts right now.
This year, Labor Day, more than just a holiday, it also is the day that marks the end of virtual learning for a lot of San Antonio students.
Garrett Berger talked to some of the biggest school districts about how they're handling students returning to class.
It will be back to school for some on Tuesday, but in a whole new way.
In the cafeteria lines, in the front office, the use of plexiglass dividers.
Both Northside and Northeast ISD are districts bringing back some of the students who want to return to campus, though they've used different methods to determine who's coming back first.
That first group of students will be students in some of our specialized classrooms. It will be students who are at the elementary level, English learners.
And we prioritized special needs students and then families who were having issues with childcare. And then we went down the list from there.
But at both, masks are a must and small class sizes are the way to go. A max of 6 per class at Northside and 5 at Northeast. A Northeast spokeswoman says their students will remain in the room for most of their school day, still attending lessons virtually with their peers at home.
We want them to stay in one location for the most part, and we want them to stay with their pod, so to speak, in the event that we have to conduct contact tracing.
But next steps are still somewhat up in the air. NEISD has a soft target to bring in most of the other students who want to return in another 2 weeks. Well, NISD is waiting to see what happens with local conditions before it announces a date for its next step.
And we're trying to give parents, as a general rule, a 2-week advance notice.
In the meantime, students will see their peers in class, at least class online. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
And isn't it nice to see the dark clouds and showers off in the distance? That's a look. You're looking at I-10 on the right-hand side of your screen, and you're looking basically northwestward from the Crossroads area. Let's take a close look at radar right now at this 5 o'clock hour. I love seeing this. A big complex came together of non-severe storms, especially hitting the hill country with upwards of an inch of rain underneath some of the heaviest downpours already in parts of the hill country. This is surging southward at about 20 miles per hour. That would put it at 526 in Bracketville, about 545 into Hennis and Uvalde, a little closer to 6 p.m. You look at the main part that's headed into Bexar County, and this outflow boundary is getting pretty far ahead of it. We really need to rely on that to kickstart some of the showers, because as that gets farther ahead of that main line, it's going to make it harder for that main line to work its way through Bexar County. But it does look like we'll be getting some rain, especially in the northern part of the county, and it's gradually going to be pushing southward. That would put it in Helotes at about 518, Castroville at about 547. A full update coming right up.
Thank you, Adam. New at 5, 2 cars stolen, several wrecks and shots fired, but the suspect still managed to get away.
Yeah, he was actually spotted by the man whose car he allegedly stole. It all began on the south side near Gerald Avenue. One of the victims told police he noticed the suspect driving his stolen car and began to follow him. While trying to get away, the suspect hit a Honda before flipping the stolen car over and hitting a house. Police say that suspect then ran off and stole another car with the keys still inside it on Commercial Avenue.
The suspect then backed up into another witness. That witness then pulled out a gun and fired as the suspect got away. That witness, along with the Honda driver, were taken to the hospital. Well, we now know the name of the man found dying after crashing into a building over the weekend. The Bexar County Medical Examiner has identified him as 23-year-old Benjamin Vargas. The crash happened in the 11,000 block of Weidner Road on Sunday. Police were responding to a call about an erratic driver. Police say Vargas drove through a fence at a truck facility, hit a building, and then crashed into a garage door. Paramedics tried to save him, but he died at the scene. No one else was injured.
The couple found dead in a home in the Stone Oak area have been identified by the Bexar County Medical Examiner today. We first brought you the breaking news story yesterday. 55-year-old Gabriela Albright and 67-year-old Joseph Albright found by a relative with gunshot wounds. SAPD has named Joseph as the gunman and say he was found with the handgun. The exact cause of death has not yet been released.
SAPD is investigating a cutting incident that landed 2 men in the hospital this morning. It happened around 11 a.m. in the 5500 block of South New Braunfels. Police say the 2 men were arguing when it escalated into a physical altercation. One man was cut on the forehead. The other suffered an injury to his hand. Both were taken to University Hospital. It's unclear if charges will be filed.
The fatal shooting of Damian Daniels during a mental health check by Bexar County deputies, a stark reminder of how many other combat veterans suffer from mental illness. Daniels served 2 tours in Afghanistan, and perhaps he was among the many veterans scarred by their experiences in combat. Others find they're later unable to adjust to civilian life. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, just one of the many ways that mental illness can manifest itself.
You'll see the development of hopelessness or feeling as though there's no solution to one's problems or no way out of a situation. Withdrawal, isolation from friends, and isolation from family.
Dr. Hoover says the VA hospital has a veterans crisis line that they or family members can call for help, as well as other resources.
All city parks will be closed for Labor Day weekend beginning tomorrow. This announcement coming from officials with the San Antonio Parks and Recreation today. City parks will close tomorrow, September 4th at midnight, and then reopen Tuesday, September 8th at 5 a.m. City officials say they hope this will encourage people to stay home during the holiday weekend. Greenway trails and city trails will remain open.
The Department of Defense is selecting Brooke Army Medical Center, BAMC, as one of the 5 locations to Phase 3 trial evaluations for the COVID-19 vaccine. The goal is to have a vaccine by January 2021. Researchers also looking for volunteers to test that vaccine. They're looking for people who have an increased risk of infection, like healthcare professionals, grocery store workers, restaurant staff, public transportation workers, and more. For the link to sign up for this trial, head to our website at KSAT.com.
Well, the annual Peanut Festival in Floresville has been postponed till March. That means organizers will host 2 festivals next year, including the one in October. While the festival is canceled for next month, the Peanut Festival Board of Directors says they still plan to hold a private coronation and a mini parade that will be by invitation only. Well, President Donald Trump's re-election campaign made its way to Texas today.
Yeah, today the Team Trump on Tour bus stopped by San Antonio. They were met with a crowd of Trump supporters at the San Antonio field office downtown. On the bus today is Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and RNC co-chairman Tommy Hicks, along with 2 senior advisors to the campaign. Tomorrow, the bus heads to Bedford, Texas. Hope and healing, that's the message Joe Biden wants to bring to Kenosha, Wisconsin after racial unrest over the police shooting of Jacob Blake.
It's a different sentiment than the one President Trump brought to Kenosha on Tuesday. But the 2 candidates may ultimately share the same goal.
Karen Kafa is at the White House to explain. Karen?
Yeah, even with both of these campaigns with different approaches to what has happened in Wisconsin, both of them are very keenly aware of the role that Wisconsin played in 2016 when a big difference was made by just a small margin, and the state appears poised to do the same again. Joe and Jill Biden in Kenosha, Wisconsin, as the community attempts to heal.
I'm optimistic about the opportunity if we seize it.
Violent protests consumed parts of the city after police shot Jacob Blake in the back.
This is not who we are.
Biden met with the Blake family, something President Trump didn't do during his visit to Kenosha Tuesday. Instead, the president thanked law enforcement.
I want to thank your police and your great people from law enforcement. They've done a fantastic job.
Toward damaged property.
We're going to work with you. We're going to help you. Okay? We'll help you rebuild.
And promised to bring his campaign message to the community.
They want law and order.
The trips from the two candidates serve a political purpose. Wisconsin voters could be the key to winning the White House. In 2016, Wisconsin, along with Michigan and Pennsylvania, catapulted Trump to the presidency. Now, the Trump campaign attempting to hold on to at least one of those states, but it could be an uphill battle. A poll of registered Wisconsin voters shows Biden leading Trump 49 to 41%. In Pennsylvania, a new survey shows no clear leader in the critical battleground state, which is why President Trump is in the Keystone State Thursday, and Joe Biden took a trip on Monday.
I've decided to come to Pittsburgh to talk a little bit about what's going on right now.
As the campaigns watch the polls and do the math, the push for swing states will only get more intense as November nears. And one other note about Joe Biden's visit to Kenosha, Wisconsin today. He said he actually spoke with Jacob Blake by phone in the hospital. And he said his conversation with Blake focused on Blake's recovery and also faith. Steve Anisius.
Karen, in addition to Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, what are some of the other swing states that the Biden-Harris campaign will be focusing on, and how might that differ from President Trump's itinerary?
Yeah, well, President Trump's itinerary is going to include a lot of time in North Carolina, where Republicans feel they have an advantage, as well as Pennsylvania. President Trump does like to go to Joe Biden's home state to needle him just a little bit. As for the Biden campaign, the former vice president said he will be getting back out a bit more after Labor Day, and we're certainly seeing some of the planned events for them pick up. But Biden said last week some of the states he will be looking to visit will include places like Minnesota and Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, which is very close to home for him, in Delaware, and Arizona, which has become such a hot battleground. And this is an area where Biden's message on the coronavirus may resonate. It's a very tight state, but of course, they had such a fast rise in cases over the summer. We're one of the hot spots. And so Biden and the campaign feeling that that's a place that could really resonate with that message and pick up some electoral votes there, Steve.
Karen Kafa live in Washington. Thank you, Karen.
A day of action. It's what brought members of the Postal Workers Union together this morning at the post office on Perrin Vital Road. Gina Ortiz-Jones, Democratic candidate for Congressional District 23, was at today's demonstration, showing her support for the Postal Service, U.S. veterans and seniors, among many others.
This is a key service, right? Everything from making sure that veterans get their medications on time, making sure that people are able to pay their bills on time. Unfortunately, I've already heard from voters that are getting late fees because they've mailed in their payment and it's not being received on time because of delays with the service.
Ortiz-Jones says the goal of today's event is to make sure we protect the Postal Service for everyone, including those who choose to vote by mail this November.
And speaking of the election, Ortiz-Jones will face her Republican challenger Tony Gonzalez for Congressional District 23 this November. Gonzalez, who defeated Raul Reyes in a very close runoff election, has accepted a debate invitation offered by KSAT 12. Ortiz-Jones hasn't responded yet. We hope to hear from her soon. The debate is scheduled for later this month.
Mask wearing. While it may have become second nature over the last few months, throw in some glasses or a full day of work, and it can be the onset of issues. But don't worry, there's already solutions for these common mask woes. We'll tell you about them coming up next. New at 5, mask annoyances. Wearing face coverings has become the norm because they help reduce the spread of COVID-19. But there are some definite downsides. If you wear glasses, then you know what I mean. 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz offers some simple solutions to the things that bug you.
Fogged up glasses, irritated ears, and even what's now called maskne. These are some of the annoyances that can come from wearing a face mask.
Wearing masks is essential to slowing the spread of COVID-19, but that doesn't mean you have to put up with some of the annoyances that can come from wearing them. There are some simple solutions.
If you wear glasses or sunglasses and they keep fogging up, a mask with a wire sewn in at the top is your best bet. Pinch the top so it fits over the shape of your nose and tighten the sides for a snug fit. You can also apply anti-fogging solution to your lenses. Wearing your glasses on top of your mask helps too. Next, there's this problem, mask acne.
When you wear your mask for a long period of time, you sweat, which can cause bacteria to build up. That can lead to acne. First, make sure your face and your mask are both clean before heading out. If you're still breaking out, ask your dermatologist whether an over-the-counter acne cream that contains benzoyl peroxide might help.
If your ears feel irritated, it's because the elastic ear loops cause friction. One solution, rub petroleum jelly behind your ears or switch to a mask that ties in the back. You know you're not supposed to keep touching your mask, but if it keeps slipping down, you need to tighten it up. You can take beads and put them on the ear loops. That'll make it adjustable, or you can just tie knots in the ends. And remember, masks should cover both your mouth and your nose. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
All right, we have some exciting weather developments happening out there.
Hey, we actually have some rain on the radar screen. Isn't that nice to see? Yeah, we like to see this. It's our old friend paying us a visit finally. All right, so let's talk about it because we have some of those downpours moving into the northern part of Bexar County and just about in 1604 Helotes area. This is a big picture. We're going to go all around the area. I want to turn on the lightning here just to show you the lightning strikes. And they have reduced in terms of their number over the past hour or so, but we still have a lot of activity there, especially west of San Antonio, moving toward Highway 90. We actually have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Kinney County, and this is until 5:45 p.m. Primary threat there is wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour in some isolated locations, and that's, again, moving toward the Highway 90 corridor west of San Antonio. Locally, northwestern corner of Bexar County started to see those showers sprout up, and especially Bandera County getting some good rainfall, which is now moving right over Medina Lake, which is under 50% capacity at the moment. And some very heavy rainfall has been sitting in northern Comal County near Canyon Lake. That's where we've had this shower activity basically sitting right there, and it's been throwing this outflow boundary out ahead of it. And this is the big concern for widespread rain in San Antonio. The farther out ahead of the storms that gets, the less likely those storms are to actually make it farther south. But this boundary itself is kicking up some new development. So we're going to rely on that outflow boundary to kick up further shower and thunderstorm development. There's the big picture locally, and there's that outflow boundary moving towards Seguin. Cross your fingers that it actually pops a shower over the Seguin area. And in terms of rainfall, I mean, it's coming down pretty hard. Good rainfall rates within this. You stop the lapse and just look at it. Near the rim and La Cantera area, a downpour just developed, and that's basically on the far northwest side of town. Between Bernie and Bulverde along 46. Heavy rainfall there. It's nice to see the soaking rain. May not be so nice, of course, if you have to commute in it, but this is good to see those heavy downpours. In terms of actual rainfall accumulations, you go through time and you see this map fill in, and then it pauses on the final frame. Canyon Lake area, radar estimates of over 2 inches already. Near Bandera, estimates of almost 2 inches, and it's still raining and still coming down. And you get west of San Antonio, and those rainfall estimates are on the order of, well, I should say up to 2 inches within some of the heaviest downpours. So that's the potential that we have with this system. Here's the big picture. Southern Maverick County, near just south of Eagle Pass, some downpours, non-severe storms have popped up. I do think we'll see this gradually spread southward, but that doesn't mean everybody in San Antonio is going to get some good rainfall out of this. One nice thing that we have worked in our favor is this upper level disturbance. That's actually going to sit right overhead through the night and the first half of the day tomorrow. So we still have good rain chances for the first part of your Friday, and even Saturday, some isolated chances as well. So I do think even once this passes, and you can see the rain off in the distance here, even once it all passes, we'll still have some isolated showers sprouting up overnight. 86 degrees right now. Temperature really fell off with that outflow boundary in the 70s, and even look at that, 69 in Comfort, where we've had the rain cooled air, but 90s out ahead of it, and even 103 in Del Rio and 104 now in Laredo. So those scattered storms this evening. After sunset, we'll see just a few lingering isolated showers sprouting up, and then they'll be widely separated in nature intermittently through the first half of the day tomorrow. And I think more clouds than sunshine tomorrow, so in turn a high temperature of about 92. Looking ahead into the weekend, we still have some rain chances into Saturday, and then we're just looking at some sunshine, mid-90s by Sunday and Labor Day. And right now, update on the potential for a cold front next week. Possible, not probable. I give it a 30 to 40% chance. Even less confidence now.
I was looking at that map, and it showed downtown 86, Port San Antonio 94. So, I mean, just that big a temperature difference just because of the outflow boundary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, interesting.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, the Spurs get some good news.
Yeah, because Pop is staying put, at least in San Antonio, we think. We know he's not going someplace else, which would be Brooklyn. When we come back, more about that developing story up north. And also the NCAA with some massive layoffs coming up. Spurs head coach Greg Popovich is not going anywhere, at least not to Brooklyn. That's because the New York-based franchise hired Steve Nash as their new head coach. Nash has no coaching experience, but was a consultant for the Golden State Warriors when Kevin Durant was on the West Coast, signed a 4-year contract. Former Spur Jacques Vaughn, who was a former Spur as well as a coach, will be retained as the highest-paid assistant coach in the NBA. The NCAA has decided to furlough its entire staff in Indianapolis for the next 3 to 8 weeks in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's as many as 600 people begin their layoffs starting on September 21st. The surprise move today, the Dallas Cowboys have cut veteran safety HaHa Clinton Dix in an effort to get down to the required 53-man roster on Saturday, even after he signed a 1-year, $3.75 million contract back in March with $2.2 million of that guaranteed. According to USA Today, Darian Thompson beat him out in camp. Dallas Cowboys star quarterback Dak Prescott believes it should be up to the individual player on how they handle any type of protest against social injustice during the national anthem. That despite his teammate Amari Cooper telling us earlier that the team should have a consensus on how they handle the protest during the anthem, which starting on week 1 against the Rams in Los Angeles. But Prescott is pushing individual expression.
That's what this country is about, the freedom to do that, the freedom to express yourself. And as we've heard Mr. Jones talk about grace and sharing grace and having grace with players and what they want to do. So if I had it my way, that's exactly what we'd do, is express ourselves individually, but love and support one another collectively.
Cowboys owner Jerry Jones seemed to soften his stance on firing any player who does not stand for the anthem, saying he would like to handle players' thoughts on anthem protests with grace. Hard to believe that 1 week from tonight, the Houston Texans will kick off their NFL season in their playoff rematch against the Chiefs in Kansas City before they won the Super Bowl. The Texans held their final scrimmage last night before cutdown day arrives this Saturday, when all NFL teams are required to get down to the 53 players on their roster. Deshaun Watson spent time with the Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes at quarterback camp back in 2016, where he got to know him and was asked if he compares himself to the Super Bowl MVP.
I can't compare myself to Pat because, some things that Pat do well that, I need to work on. There's some things I do well, Pat might need to work on. So, we're just two different, at the end of the day, we do the same thing, but at the same time, we're different people. And the way we, operate and think might be a little bit different. So we can't compare each other to, one another.
All right, back with more after this.